All right, today we're cracking the code on a really common Indonesian slang phrase. And what's wild is that it reveals a whole cultural mindset, all packed into just two tiny words. So, you ready to dive in?
Okay, so let's start with a puzzle. You've got this phrase, kabur Dulu, and it translates to just run away, for now. Now think about that. Why the for now? I mean, why not just say run away? That little addition, that for now, well, that's the key. It's going to unlock a really fascinating part of Indonesian culture.
So let's break this phrase down piece by piece. First up, we've got kabur. Now, this isn't about going for a jog. That word is lari. Kabur is way more specific. It means you're escaping, you're fleeing from something. You know, think let's bail or we gotta get out of here.
Okay, next up is aja. Now, this is just the casual, everyday version of the word saja, which means just or only. When you tack it onto a command, it kind of softens it. It's like saying, hey, just do this one simple thing. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't overthink it.
And here's the final piece of the puzzle, Dulu. Now, when you use it in a command, it can mean first. But, and this is the important part, it really means for now. It's basically telling you to do this one action before you even start worrying about anything else.
Okay, but the real magic, the real secret sauce, happens when you put aja and dulu together. You see, aja is saying, don't overthink it, right? And then dulu comes in and says, worry about the consequences later. So together, aja dulu becomes this amazing psychological shortcut. It means just do this one thing for now and we'll figure out the rest later. It just makes any decision feel super temporary and totally low stakes.
So how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, let's look at a super common example you'll hear all the time. Jalanin aja dulu. Literally, this means something like, just walk it for now. But what it really means is, hey, let's just go with the flow and see what happens. And you will hear this all the time in modern Indonesian dating. So if you ever ask someone where the relationship is going and they hit you with this, yeah, you might be in a situationship. It's basically the ultimate non-committal commitment.
All right, here's another one. This is a classic, especially if you want to avoid conflict. Yain aja dulu.
Now, this has nothing to do with actually agreeing with someone. It literally translates to just yes them for now. The whole idea is you just agree with them to keep the peace. You know, just to get them to stop talking. It's the perfect tool for dealing with a nagging boss, maybe a parent, or that one really stubborn friend. It's a social strategy, plain and simple, to just delay any kind of confrontation.
But, you know, aja dulu isn't always about avoiding things. It can actually be a really powerful tool for encouragement. Take this phrase, for example, coba aja dulu.
This one means just try it first. And it has this great feeling of, hey, what's the worst that can happen? You'd say this to a friend who is totally overthinking, I don't know, applying for a new job or something. It completely removes that fear of failure because you're reframing the whole thing as just a small, low-stakes experiment.
So you're starting to see the pattern, right? Simpan aja dulu, just keep it for now. That's what you say when you're not sure if you need to throw something out. Or datang aja dulu, just show up for now. Perfect for a friend who's on the fence about going to a party. This whole construction is just incredibly versatile for any situation where you just want to lower the stakes.
So all of this leads to a really big cultural idea. This phrase, aja dulu, it's kind of like the verbal version of a concept called jam correct or rubber time. But here's the cool part. Instead of making time flexible, this phrase makes decisions flexible. It's this brilliant cultural shortcut for committing to doing something right now without having to commit to the long-term consequences.
Okay, so if aja dulu is the philosophy, let's talk about maybe the single most important tool in all of Indonesian slang, the suffix in. Seriously, mastering this is a total game changer if you want to sound natural.
I want you to think of the suffix in as like a Swiss Army knife for language. It's this informal little ending you can stick on almost any word to instantly turn it into an action verb. It lets you say that you're doing something to something else. It's just a super efficient shortcut that gets rid of a lot of complex grammar.
Here's how it works. In formal Indonesian, you have these prefixes like me and suffixes like kon. Well, in slang, you just get rid of the prefix and swap out that formal suffix for in. That's it. So a word like menjelaskan, which means to explain, just becomes jelasin. Or memasukkan, to put in, becomes masuken. See? So much simpler.
And this is where it gets really fun and creative. You can take pretty much any noun, add in to the end, and boom, you've got a brand new verb. So, take the ride-hailing app Gojek, for instance.
Gojek and aja means just go check it. Or the word kado, which means a gift. Kadoin means to gift something to someone. You can do this with almost any noun you can think of. It's amazing.
Okay, so we've got the philosophy, we've got the tool. Now for the final touch, the thing that ties it all together, the accent. To really sound like a local, you gotta understand these subtle vowel shifts that happen in casual speech, especially around Jakarta.
People sometimes call this the lazy mouth phenomenon, which is a great way to think about it. See, in formal speech, to make that open ah sound, you have to open your mouth pretty wide. But in casual talk, that final ah often just relaxes into this lazy ith sound, kind of like the sound in the. Why? Because it just takes less effort. It's all about being vocally efficient.
And you'll see this pattern everywhere. The standard word simpan becomes simpen. Datang becomes dateng. Benar turns into benar. Just making this one tiny change will instantly make you sound so much more friendly and natural.
And there's just one more quick shift to know about. Those double vowels you see at the end of words, they often get simplified. So the aw sound just becomes a simple o, meaning kalo becomes kalo. And the I sound turns into an a, so pakai becomes pake. Again, it's all about speaking a little faster and with less effort.
All right, so let's put everything we've talked about together into a quick little cheat sheet. First, you've got aja dulu, which makes any decision feel temporary and low pressure. Then there's the in suffix. That's your verb-making superpower. And finally, those vowel shifts. That's the real key to getting that natural local accent. But I think the biggest takeaway here is that it's often the smallest, tiniest words that carry the most cultural weight.
And that really brings us to a final thought. Because learning these kinds of patterns, it's not just about learning slang, right? It reveals an entire worldview. And it really makes you wonder, what kind of cultural shortcuts and secrets are hidden in the way you speak every single day?